So I think we can slowly get going. Again, good morning to all and welcome to this Global Europe webinar, which is organized together by Eurochambres and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Romania, and is co-funded by the Latin America Intellectual Property SME Helpdesk and the EU SME Centrist China. My name is Mihai Ivashcu, and I will be your moderator for today. For those of you who do not know me yet, I'm working as advisor for the president of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Romania. And I was for 5 years member of the European Economic and Social Committee, which is a European institution based in Brussels. I'm still connected with the ESC, and I'm working on European affairs matters, on different opinions and projects for the committee. Now, we are living difficult times with the war in Ukraine bringing the loss of many innocent lives. We see also a large number of war refugees being forced to leave their country and seek shelter elsewhere. The situation is indeed very insecure and unpredictable, with everybody talking about the war, but no one really knowing how it will actually end. We have also seen the rise in utility prices all over Europe. We have Russia under severe economic sanctions from more or less the rest of the world, which is indeed causing disruptions in the international value chains. We have high inflation, decline in the stock markets all over the world, and the global economy is in a much weaker position than we have expected. This is, of course, adding to the more or less 2 years of pandemic period, which has blocked value chains and the free movement of persons and goods. And economically, you know, the situation seems about to explode. But will it? Will we have another financial and economic crisis? Is the EU ready to fight it? Are the companies more prepared than in 2007 and 2008? While we wait for answers for all these questions, I think we can focus on creating economic and business opportunities for the companies. Now, I'm particularly happy of the high interest shown in our webinar. And I'm very happy we can provide to you today some presentations on the key projects funded by the European Commission that support European businesses to internationalize. This has been a long time preoccupation for the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Romania, and we have made many events, meetings, conferences, economic missions geared up towards promoting Romanian businesses abroad. In the CCIR press releases, we have several times mentioned the fact that the Romanian business environment is trapped in intra-EU commercial relations. Today, 70% of Romania foreign trade is conducted with the EU member states. 15% is related to non-European countries and only 15% to other countries in the world. Today, you will hear about opportunities for the Chinese market, but also related to Latin America, India, Turkey, and the countries from the Eastern Partnership. We will learn today about how to access EU-funded, effective, free, and professional services that will provide the opportunity and financing to internationalize your businesses. At the end of the presentations, we have prepared a Q&A session that my colleague from the CCIR, Sabina, will moderate. And because we have a very tight agenda and many presentations, I would like to fully respect the allocated 1.5 hours for this webinar. And my proposal is to start directly with the presentations. Please try to respect the time allocated for your presentation so we have enough time for the Q&A session at the end. And for our guests, of course, you can ask questions in the chat, but also there is the Q&A box that you could use. So first, we have the presentation from Laura Velasco, who is a project officer and EU partnership coordinator at EU SME Center China. She will give us a flavor of the support available for SMEs that want to internationalize their activity and access the Chinese market. Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mihai, and welcome to all the participants. We are very happy to be here today together with the Chamber of Commerce of Romania. I am Laura Velasco, and today I'm going to be talking about the China project, the USME Center for China. The USME Center is a project that was funded by the European Commission back in 2010. So it's already 12 years that we are supporting businesses trying to access the Chinese market. We are funded right now by a COSME program, by SMEA agency, and we have offices in Beijing and in Brussels, thanks to the umbrella support of Eurochambres. The implementing partners for this project are four chambers of commerce and one business council. You can see them at the bottom of this presentation. And although we are right now we are on the third phase of the project, which is supposed to finish in March, but we have already confirmed the extension until June 2022. There will be a fourth phase that will last until 2025. This means that the project will continue its services to companies and business support organizations, such as chambers of commerce, for 3 more years. In terms of services, we offer 5 different blocks. I tried to include them in a chronological order. So first of all is the self-diagnosis tool that helps companies to understand how much they know about the market. Sometimes we try to overestimate how much we know about the culture, way of doing business, legal procedures. Secondly, the Knowledge Center, which is an online library that helps us participants to understand, to get better understanding of the market. Third, we have the Advice Center that clarifies questions. Fourth, the Training Center, where we try to give a deeper understanding on the legal procedures when it comes to China or any business-related issues. And last but not least, we try to also have an advocacy role, trying to give voice to the concerns and the requests of the European businesses operating in China. So first of all, talking about the self-diagnosis tool, this online artificial intelligence-based tool that helps participants to understand the level of readiness towards the market has 5 different quizzes. So we have a general one and then some others focused on business development, product, funding, and HR. It allows you to understand how prepared you are. So there are some questions that you will be replying. It usually takes between 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the quiz you choose. And at the end, the system will tell you, okay, from in a scale of 100%, you are 80% prepared. Congratulations, you have a very good knowledge, but you are missing information, for instance, on IP-related issues, or perhaps you need to know more about how the HR regulation works in China if you are hiring, for instance, employees in China or sales agents. Once you know where you stand, then you can go to the online library where you can find market reports that are transversal. So they apply to different sectors, for instance, cross-border e-commerce, digital marketing, or HR issues that apply to any type of industry. But also you have a lot of market reports that are sector specific. And this is because this allows us to give a more in-depth introduction and understanding of the market. In the last 3 years, we have spent a lot of time renewing the market reports that we already had. So the level of the number of market reports has been very stable, but this is because if you go into the website, you will see that most of them have been updated between 2020 and 2021. This is because in China, it's very, very important to have the most updated market information because the regulation changes from one day to the other. So those who have already read some market reports, I also invite you to go back because you might find updated versions of the reports you already read. Then we have the Advice Center. And here, as I mentioned before, we provide one-to-one complimentary and confidential consultation services. Anything related to business development, HR, legal, standards and conformity can be asked here. And our colleagues will reply to your questions between 2 to 3 working days. It usually takes 2 days, which is basically based on the time difference. So normally when we submit questions, it's already evening in China, and then the day after you usually have the questions. There is no limitation. You can ask as many questions as possible, and sometimes we can even set up a conference call with a team so that the exchange of information is much more, is faster, is more fluent. Also, because we have been working with you and with all SMEs in Europe for over 12 years now, we have developed a very comprehensive FAQ section with the most frequent questions that we have received. And this is not only important because by reading this, you might also find answer to your questions, but also because there might be questions that you haven't thought about that are on this section, and that might help you to better prepare yourself to start working or operating in China. I forgot to mention that all the services we offer are free of charge. No matter how many times you ask for questions, how many events you participate in, we are always free of charge. And it's because we believe that SMEs need to focus their financial capacity in other aspects. And they need this information to make a very informed and smart decision when it comes to China. The next service is the training center. And here we try to plug the knowledge and skill gaps of SMEs that want to enter the market. And here we try to tailor-made the program or the agenda to the needs of the SMEs we participate in. So in Europe, we always partner with business support organizations such as the Chamber of Commerce of Romania or regional chambers of commerce. Then we discuss, we ask each other which kind of topics might be of the interest of the member, and then we organize the sessions. In the past, we used to have this kind of format, so classroom type sessions with 30 to 35 participants, where we used to bring the experts, even from China. Sometimes they will flew for, they have flown from China to dictate these trainings. But also we were able to adjust during the COVID and to shift to the online format and continue providing support and training to these companies. Now that situation is getting better, we are trying to organize both online and offline. And obviously this is also discussed with our partners, and it's organized based on their preferences. And last but not least, as I was mentioning, we have this advocacy platform where we try to support as much as possible the SMEs that already operate in the market or that want to operate but find difficulties because they actually work in a field that is somehow restricted. China has opened its border progressively in the past years, but there are some sectors or some fields such as infrastructure, communication, education that still have offer some restrictions to companies, and we try to play a key role here and make sure that companies participate in a level playing field. We have a dedicated working group also where we update and we inform companies on the developments, how actually the regulation changes, to see whether in a field that perhaps yesterday they couldn't operate, today they can. And with different business support organizations, we have a partnership program in order to develop these kind of activities I was mentioning before. And this includes from organization of training workshops, also organization in the future, because at the moment it cannot be done, of delegations and B2B matchmaking events in China. We have tried to shift these into the online format, but as you might know, when it comes to finding new partners, the physical contact, the personal relations is quite important. So we are hoping that China will open the borders at the end of this year so that we can resume these kind of activities. But in the meantime, again, we have seminars, we have conferences, we have business training workshops almost on weekly basis that are one click away from you. And we also have co-branded publications, and we participate in the EEN network. So all of our contacts from the network are also at the disposal of the SMEs and business support organizations that are close to the ESME Center. These are some examples of the kind of activities we did in the past, and we hope to resume, and more to come, hopefully soon. And last but not least, this is the list of partners we work with in Europe. Obviously, the Chamber of Commerce of Romania is also here, as is a trusted partner of the USME Center. And the last but not least, I just want to thank again the support and the participants for hearing us out today.
Thank you very much, Laura. There you go. We are talking about SMEs in Europe a lot. We are talking about their importance for the economy, the fact that they are the backbone of the economy. But you know, sometimes, and when talking with SMEs, they feel neglected by the legislative proposals at European level, by the measures taken by the member states. Well, here we have a concrete project, a concrete proposal for you as SMEs to internationalize your business, to get advice and funding, and to have this advice free of charge, no matter how many times you will bother Laura about it and her team. But it is really important that you have a concrete situation where you could get support to reach the Chinese market, and what a market that is. So good luck with that, and looking forward to your questions for the end of the webinar. Now, the second presentation is about the EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership. And we have Joel Fernandez, who will talk about business opportunities and support for EU businesses in the renewable energy sector. Of course, we are talking about companies that are interested in India. And Joel will also talk about how to protect your innovation. So, Joel, the floor is yours.
Good morning, and Buna Diminiata and Namaste, and thank you for joining me this morning to focus on India. First of all, Mihai, thanks for talking about the current geopolitical situation and the crisis that we are going through, and the importance of trade and investment in a time of crisis as what we are going through right now. Well, what I would be doing is talking about the EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership Project. What are those concrete proposals that and projects that Mihai just spoke about, and how the EU is supporting the European businesses and the EU businesses in terms of internationalization towards India. As you know, Romania and India have a very good relationship, as well as the EU and India. There are around 4,500 EU businesses already in India. And what we are trying to do here is support the EU businesses by talking about real-time opportunities in India. So that way you can come to India and actually make business and do business and make profits in India. So just to share with you, the EU and India, in 2016, they signed an agreement on clean energy and climate action. What was the outcome of this particular discussion or an agreement was the EU-India Clean Energy and Climate Partnership Project. This project has 4 partners: PricewaterhouseCoopers India, NERAS from Denmark, the CEEW Council from India, as well as Eurochambres. And that's the reason why Eurochambres has partnered with the Chamber of Commerce to present and share with the Romanian businesses, particularly in the clean energy, clean tech sectors, to talk about what are these real-time opportunities in India. Yeah. So, like I mentioned to you before, the objective of this project is to reinforce the already existing relationship between the EU and India in clean energy and climate action. So this particular project focuses on supporting EU businesses in these sectors that are related in the energy space to come to India and work on already existing EU-India projects. For example, if there is a project on solar rooftop or solar heating or energy storage, there are already EU-India projects and clusters that are already created, so that if in case a Romanian company is in this particular sector, they can come to India through us and through this particular project by contacting us, and you will be working with an Indian partner already that has been established as part of the clusters, and you can already do business in India. In the past, companies would come to India and then try to look out for projects or look out for partners. We felt that this was not the best way to go forward. And that's the reason why the EU has created this particular project. This project also influences and sort of strengthens the already existing policy dialogue on energy and climate action, because you can't have policy without having good business support. And that's the reason why, in terms of the clean energy and climate action policy dialogue, we are looking for more businesses in this particular sector between the EU and India. Also, with the EU Green Deal that was launched, the EU has very good policies and recommendations that it is recommending to the country of India. And that's the reason why we are working with the EU in terms of India in understanding what are some of those policy changes. Yeah, Fit for 55 that the EU launched very recently, the Green Deal. How can India improve its policies by looking and leaning towards the EU? And that's what we have here today. We are also looking at research. So if you are sitting in this webinar and you are a research organization or an academic, there is an opportunity for you through this project as well, because as I mentioned, this is an EU-India project. So we are looking out from companies and research academies from the EU as well as from India, and create that facilitation and dialogue between the two. How do we achieve the desired objectives of the project? The first being the policy dialogue. Like I mentioned to you, the EU has some great best practices that you are adopting within the EU, and India is looking out for these best practices, not only from a policy perspective, but even from a technology perspective. So if you have a fancy technology or a great technology, come to India, share your experience with the Indians, and try and do business with India. Transfer of know-how in terms of technology transfer, like I was talking to you just before, it's very important that India is open for business. It is looking out for technologies. It is looking out for innovations in the clean technology space. It's also looking at other sectors, but particularly this project that I'm focusing on focuses on energy and renewables. Capacity building, well, the EU has some very good training and knowledge that it can share with India through this policy dialogue, through these discussions that we are trying to create. And that's another area as to how we can strengthen the relationship between the EU and India. We also, like I mentioned to you, joint research, looking out for academics, looking out for those kind of papers that you have in the EU or within Romania, in some of your universities, that you want to commercialize. And India is open. There are companies in India looking out for EU technologies that are not yet commercialized within the EU, and that's research. And we are looking at commercializing your research and technologies. And finally, we also have pilot projects that are already identified in India. So for example, just the last month, I was working on a distributed renewable energy pilot project where we had around 5 or 6 European companies and EU companies come to India and understand where are these renewable energy projects in distributed renewable energy. So distributed renewable energy is nothing but, looking at supporting villages in India in getting electricity and electrifying them through smart technologies, and that can be adopted in India. So there are many more pilot projects that we are working on between the EU and India. Lastly, what are some of the focus areas? As you'll see on the screen, it varies from solar, it varies to cold chain. We are talking about energy storage, which is very important. The EU and India also have an agreement on green hydrogen, and that's the buzzword right now for India. We are all looking out for good technologies in the clean energy space. Smart grid, we recently earlier in this month, in the month of March, we had the India Smart Utility Week. We had 12 EU projects showcase their technologies virtually. So these are things that we do for European businesses. All of the support that we are offering is also free of cost. The objective is to support the EU businesses in this particular sector to look at India as a market. Now that I've talked to you about what are the opportunities, and I would recommend that you look at the website, and the links are also at the end of my presentation. Take a look and see what are some of the opportunities you have. But remember, when it comes to a country like India, it is very important to file your patents in India. And my colleague Nicoletta will talk to you more about the IP SME Helpdesk, because your intellectual property that you have in the EU, particularly with SMEs, are very, very important to the company. And you know, in a country like India, which is technology savvy, as you see, most companies and most people are always in the ICT industry or the IT industry, as you call it. We are very good with duplicating or copying technologies. And that's the reason why I'm putting together this slide and being very candid and telling you that if in case you're coming to India, it is very important that you file your patent. Otherwise, your technology will be commercialized in a span of few weeks. Yeah. And you can see that there is a trend in filing IP in India. You don't only need to file it in the EU, you also need to file your technology or your patent in India so that you are protecting yourself. And as the EU, we have an SME help desk, which we started off to support EU businesses in understanding the regulations in India. As you know, China and India, as even my colleague Laura mentioned, we have very complex systems in terms of regulations and terms of policies. And it's very important for you as an EU business, particularly an SME, to understand those regulations prior to coming to India. So what we offer you through the India IP SME Help Desk is free service to call us, ask your questions, understand the Indian market, and we will be able to advise you through our experts that are part of this particular project. As you can see, we have our social media handles there, as well as the link. You will get a copy of this presentation with the links so that you can take a look at this information in your own free time. In case you want to connect with me, my email address is fernandes@eurochambres.eu. I will now hand it over to my colleague Nicoletta, first to you, Mihai, and then to Nicoletta, who will share with you more information on the help desks for the different geographies that we have under the European Commission. So with that, thank you very much. And I look forward to hearing from you in terms of your questions. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Joël. Thank you for a comprehensive presentation on the possibility of cooperation between EU and India. You have mentioned research, best practice exchanges, investment opportunities, doing business together, pilot projects with a focus on clean energy. Of course, for your information, for the participants, the presentations from the webinar will be sent to you on email, so you don't have to take notes of all the addresses, the email addresses that were given to you by Joël. They will be provided to you, so you can contact them immediately after the event. So as Joël has already mentioned, now we move to Nicoletta Favaretto, who will share valuable information on intellectual property rights and the protection while internationalizing your businesses. But also she will talk about All Invest Verde, which is an initiative mobilizing EU know-how and investment in support of building alliances with the private sector in Latin America. Nicoletta, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mihai, and good morning to everyone that joined the session today. As said, we and Joël at Eurochambres were working for the Latin America and the India IP SME Help Desk, and we are part of a bigger family called International IP SME Help Desk. So as you see, we talk about intellectual property, and we addressed our services to small and medium-sized enterprises. Here on the screen, you'll see that International IP SME Help Desk comprises a series of 6 different help desks, a European one dealing with the single market in Europe, and then different ones, India, China, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and the new African one. What we do, we offer resources to SMEs to help them manage properly their intellectual property when they go international. Many times when we meet companies, for example, I'm today in the Netherlands participating at a trade fair, and to present the services to participants, we often are asked why the European Commission is, let's say, financing a help desk on intellectual property. And what we see is that, of course, often small and medium-sized enterprises forget that they have intangible assets in their business, and they can use their intangible intangible assets as a business resource, so as a competitive advantage when going international. So by registering your IP in the country where you are operating, you get exclusive right. You can have a strong IP portfolio and so engage in new partnership, attract investors, and you're free to operate in the market of interest. So you reduce the risk linked to technology commercialization, both in Romania in this case, but also abroad. You increase the control when outsourcing and when licensing, for example, the use of your product, and you can engage in new research and development cooperation with counterparts abroad. So it's really a key to enter new market and an asset that can really make your position stronger in the new market. As Mihai was saying before, we know that SMEs are the backbone of our economy. We almost 98% of the companies in the EU are small and medium-sized enterprises, and those SMEs are also those that develops new creations, inventions that provide new technical solution to a problem. Really intangible assets and intellectual property is everywhere. It could be in the database that we are using at work, the software that we can protect with a copyright. It could be in a new technology that a company develops for drying shoes or for a new fabric and so on, so that can be patent protected. It could be the design of a chair that we have in the office that can protect via industrial design. So everything of a product could be actually in an intangible asset and a work that is developed by the intellect and that can be protected. So we are here to support you in this, to support you by giving free of charge first-line confidential assistance on IP protection, management and enforcement in the region of interest. So Latin America, India, China, Southeast Asia. And we offer our services to European small and medium-sized enterprises and SMEs from associated countries, such as, for example, Moldova, Turkey. Those SMEs that, for example, are not present with a subsidiary in the region, but are working, has commercial relations with the region. So you're working with entities in Latin America, you want to establish yourself in the region, or you are potentially interested to have research and development cooperation activities in those markets. Our services comprise of a series, let's say, of 3 and 4 resources. So the first one is the helpline. We have a pool of experts that are available online to reply to any question free of charge. It's a confidential and to the point service. So you can go to our website, register your profile and send a query anytime you want. You can even write an email directly using the email that are on the screen, or you can also book a meeting with our expert. So what we will do, the expert will revise your question and reply to you within 3 working days. Questions that we often receive are, of course, the simple trademark registration, but also question more on, for example, procedures and fees for filing a patent application abroad, for protection of industrial design. Many companies, for example, do not want to disclose their technology abroad, so they have trade secrets, and how do they ensure that those trade secrets are protected? So we also talk about non-disclosure agreement, but also licensing, for example, your IP rights abroad. So it's a very simple, let's say, service, as said, free of charge, which is also complemented by our series of training events. So we organize a 1-hour webinar for companies on specific legislation of specific countries. For example, in April with the Latin America Helpdesk, we organized a session on IP protection for European SMEs in Chile. We'll also organize session with a sectoral focus. So we also talk, for example, about IP for the energy and environment sector, for companies active in the textile or cosmetic sector, or in the in the, for example, water sector and so on. So here we put in the link the direct connection to our events calendar, so you can register. And we often also invite those business support organizations that are present today, for example, Romanian local chambers or other BSOs that joined us today. We are also ready to cooperate with those organizations. So we can, for example, co-organize a session for the benefit of your companies, where we provide an overview of the market of interest, being in Latin America, in India, or a market covered by the other help desk. And we also make available the expert after the event to provide to any assistance the companies may need, and any request they may have and that they want to disclose in a confidential environment. In addition to that, on the website, you'll find a series of free resources. We talk about technology transfers. We talk about IP protection when dealing with customs abroad. We also talk, for example, about how to protect IP when exhibiting at trade fairs. I think with COVID pandemic situation a little bit improving, we can start again being present at exhibition. So how can you ensure yourself from a copycat and counterfeiting? You find a series of resources for free online, complemented also by two free tools that we call IP Diagnostic tool and Cost tool. So with Diagnostic tool, you will fill in a survey and understand which is your knowledge in terms of IP and which are the assets, the intangible assets that pertain to your company. And once you understand which assets you need to protect in the market of interest, then with the IP Cost tool, you are able to pre-evaluate how much it will cost for you to protect those assets in the market. So this is in a nutshell what the IP help desks does. And I think it's a very valuable resource for companies to understand which direction to go. Please also bear in mind that there are international agreements related to IP, and some of the countries in this region are signatories of these treaties. So you can also take advantage of those and reduce the costs that are linked to IP protection and management abroad. So having said that, you have all the references. I also invite you to, let's say, follow us on social media, as Joel said, because there is where we publish all the opportunities that we have, being booking the meeting with an expert or an event. Having said that, I wear now, let's say, the hat of the Invest Verde program. At Eurochambres, I'm dealing with the internationalization project with Latin America. So that's why I will present this economic cooperation program financed by the European Union. So Invest, it's almost, let's say, a brand in Latin America. It started already in the 90s. And it's a program that is already in its 6th edition, this time with a focus on the green economy. The implementing consortium of Invest Verde is coordinated by SEQA, is a non-for-profit organization representing the German business, SMEs and industry. We are part of the consortium as Eurochambres, so the European Chambers of Commerce are present in the consortium. And then we have other 5 Latin American partners. We have the Guatemalan Association of Exporters, the Confederation of Businesses in Brazil, the Chambers of Commerce of Santa Cruz in Bolivia, the Chambers of Commerce of Lima, and the Confederation of a Mexican employer with its office in Jalisco. So what is Invest Verde? Invest Verde is a comprehensive program composed by 3 different components. We are working on component 1, and component 1 aims to mobilize EU expertise and investment to support the creation of private sector partnership in Latin America. There's also a component 2, working again with a strong focus on the green economy and with the objective, let's say, to work at public policy level so that to harmonize and let's say goes towards an effective implementation of environmental standards and strategies and policy. And the component 3 deals again with intellectual property. So as you've seen here from the European Union, there's really the willingness to focus on technology and the willingness also to protect that intangible assets from the EU. So again, component 3 will work at on intellectual property level, but more for, let's say, harmonizing standards between Europe and Latin America. Component 1 has the overall objective to promote sustainable growth, job creation, by supporting a transition to a circular economy in Latin America, resource-efficient economy, and low-carbon economy in Latin America, with the idea to support Latin American SMEs to adopt resource-efficient practices, production, and processes, and also to be a more responsible and sustainable consumers in the country. How actually we reach the objective. Here you've seen we have a team of 6 people that are present in Lima. We started our operation in December last year, and the project will last for 4 years. The funding for the component 1 is 31.25 million euro, of which 25 million euro will be distributed and will finance these innovative partnership projects via a grant scheme mechanism. So via the launch of 2 call for proposal, we will finance innovative projects that are presented by partnership between Europe and Latin America, so that to reach the overall objective. Each project will receive a financial contribution of maximum 80% of the direct eligible cost, with the amount per contribution between 250,000 and a maximum of 300,000 euro. The first call for proposal will be launching on the 28th of March. So I will report then the project website so that you can find all the information. It's a single stage open competitive process. So you present your proposal in one single stage and you'll have 3 months to present a proposal. Here we address, so the project here is addressed to business support organizations. So we're not, let's say, financing directly small and medium-sized enterprises or big companies, but the project is presented by institution or organization that are working with SMEs and have also, let's say, strong background in the green economy field, and that are able to reach a high number of companies and to replicate results. So you've seen the countries that are covered in the EU are all the member states countries, and the countries covered in Latin America are 18. So you see it's all Latin America from Mexico southwards to Chile, Argentina, and covering also Cuba for the Caribbean part. So the idea is that each project contributes to the achievement of objective results and indicators of invest that will be set out in the call, an indicative of duration per project of 20-30 months, and the set out of activities should be implemented in the 18 beneficiary countries that you will see in the previous slide. Of course, the partnership also should let's say, provide a clear reference on why actually European organization add value to the project. And also we invite the partnership to foster synergies with other project initiative in the green economy field at national and regional level. So all the detailed guidelines templates will be published and will be available on the 28th of March in the All'Invest Verde website. And here again, we leave all the references, both of the team leader in Lima, the project director, and my reference. And we invite you again to join us on social media to be updated on developments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nicoletta. You have talked about the importance of protecting your intellectual property when internationalizing your business. And we have seen that the services are offered to the SMEs that are from the region or are interested in Latin America free of charge. We have heard about the helpline, training, online free resources, and the IP diagnostic and cost tool. Again, everything is free for the business environment, so don't hesitate to make full use of it. We have also heard about All Invest Verde, which is a project focused on technology, intellectual property protection, focused on mobilizing EU expertise and investments. We have also heard about your 4 years project in Lima, Peru, and the launch of the first call of proposals on the 28th later this month. Again, the presentation will be sent to all of you after the meeting. Now we move to Ana Sărățeanu, who will talk today about fostering business links between companies and business organizations from the EU and the countries in the Eastern Partnership. Ana, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mihai. Actually, we had to change the presenters. So I'm Ia Hodeli. I'm a project officer. Unfortunately, Anna could not be here. No worries. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present our project. And I'm always happy to talk about the project and to use the opportunity to increase the network for our projects. So I'll start with a brief overview of the background and of the objectives of the EU for Business Connecting Companies project. This is a project, one of the projects that is financed under the EU for Business initiative of the European Union, and it aims to contribute to the promotion of trade between the EU member states and the 6 Eastern Partnership countries: Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. The project is also aimed to increase sustainable economic development and job creation in the targeted region, I mean in the EAP countries, and to allow the businesses from the EU countries to reach to the counterparts from the region. The project is managed by Eurochambres with the help of 5 sectorial consortia that are helping us in the day-to-day implementation of the project, and they are also helping us in monitoring implementation of the actions on the ground. So they are technically providing the support of the actions and the business support organizations on the ground that are in charge to implement the project. These sectorial consortia are composed of the chambers of commerces from the European Union and the chambers of commerces from the Eastern Partnership countries, and we have selected them via calls for expression of interest already in 2020. The project started in the end of 2019, and initially it was aimed to finish this year in 2022. However, seeing the challenges that the world faced, and particularly in the EAP region, meaning the pandemic and political unrest in Belarus, and now this devastating war in Ukraine, it is more likely that the project will be extended till the end of 2023. And this is also indicative day considering how the situation will evolve and how we will manage to move on with the project. The project itself is a continuation of the East Invest project. However, it has a different framework. After the East Invest project that was already also implemented by Eurochambres, we saw that there was some positive results that we could have built on another project that was more targeted to the needs of the businesses in the region. The project is, as I mentioned, implementing by the partnership of the business support organizations from the European Union and from the Eastern Partnership regions, so-called BSOs partnerships, and they're implementing 59 actions. So in total, we have 59 business support organizations partnerships with budget of up to 60,000 euro per each action. And the final beneficiaries of our projects are the small and medium enterprises, both from the European Union and the Eastern Partnership region, as well as the business support organizations that directly participated in the activities. Briefly about the challenges, why the challenges you for business connecting companies try to address. And I'm talking here the challenges that existed pre-pandemic and pre-war environment. Among others, it was underdeveloped potential for SMEs in the EAP countries, which was caused by various reasons, starting from the geographical location of the region itself and political and social and economic systems that were influenced by many other reasons. Also, the very weak concentration, weak integration into the global markets, and weak access to the innovations and finances for the SMEs in the region. Of course, we don't have ambitions to address, and it's impossible to address all these challenges at once by any project. But what we aim here is to make small steps towards improving environment in which the SMEs and BSOs operate, and allows them to increase their network to their counterparts from the European Union, to allow them to share experiences and expertise among each other, and possibly to open up the business opportunities for them. Now I'm talked about the challenges. However, it doesn't mean that there is no opportunities in the region that EU businesses could see, and seeing some of the results that we already received from our action, it is obvious that this region is quite interesting for the businesses from the European Union. We had, for example, already the established partnerships between Spanish SMEs and Georgian SMEs in the creative industry sectors, in particular in the film production, to produce already some of the feature movies or documentaries. And they were also interested to all the traditions that the region holds in terms of, for example, the wine producing, or in terms of the tourism destinations. So here we have the mutual benefits for both parties, from businesses from the European Union and businesses from the Eastern Partnership region. In order to address in more strategically to the challenges that I have described before, it was decided to address not the business opportunities as in all sectors, but to choose and concentrate in 5 sectors. And the chosen sectors were bio-organic food, wine, tourism, textile, and creative industries. And these sectors were chosen due to their high potential in growth in trade between the EU and EAP countries, and also due to the fact that these sectors included a high share of small and medium enterprises in each countries. Also, we thought that the sectors had high potential to promote the countries to diversify the economic input in the countries, especially that has heavy dependent on a few sectors. As I mentioned, this approach to work on the specific sectors, it's easier way to have more strategic approach to the support of businesses, and it is easier to channel the business opportunities and connection between the SMEs between two regions. The entire project is organized on the basis of 3 action types. We are implementing study visits, which aims to allow the businesses and business support organizations to network to the counterparts. We have also business-to-business matching, which is mainly directly to the businesses, small and medium businesses from the 2 regions, to look into the business opportunities together, probably to think of some common products they want to design, or to simply increase the communication between each other. And finally, we have twinnings, which mainly target the business support organizations. We aim here to have peers of the business support organizations from the Eastern Partnership countries and from the European Union, for them to among others, to share their experiences and work all together to provide the common services to their member businesses. So now we are in the, we finished the 2 years of implementation of our project. And in the year first, we selected the sectorial consortia, and in addition to that, we selected the sectorial experts. We have 2 experts for each sector, and they help us to design the strategies and guidelines for each sector in the EAP region. You can already check on our website under the reports and sectors all the strategies and guidelines designed and produced by the sectorial experts. However, now they are working to finalize the second draft of the reports, including the updated information, considering also the changes in the environment. So you're invited to check our website, Connecting Companies.eu, to see the previous version of the report and also the updated information if you're interested in potential business opportunities in the EAP countries. We have also worked to see how the COVID impacted to the sectors in these countries. We have so far produced two reports, one from the last year and one in 2020. In addition, prior to kick off of our action, we also worked on producing the country Inception report for each country separately. So we here again invite you to check all these reports to see what are the opportunities in each countries for the European businesses to explore more. In year 2, so in 2021, we have published 2 calls for proposals, one in March and one in July. And in total, we have selected 59 business support organizations that are now in charge of implementing 3 types of actions in the region. And in addition to that, we have implemented series of events to allow the potential participants in this action to network with each other and to get know each other and the opportunities that we are planning to give them in the next year. As a result, as I said, we have 59 actions in total. We have 12 actions in each sectors except one where we have only selected the 11 actions. And as an implementing business support organization, we have 95 organizations involved, and it is equally distributed between the European Union and the EAP countries, almost equally. And we also involve as implementing organizations the chambers of commerces, and we also gave opportunity to other business support organizations to take lead into implementing these actions. As for the final beneficiaries, these numbers are something that we estimate, even so all the 59 actions are now ongoing, and we have information about the number of final beneficiaries. We assume that the number of final beneficiaries is higher than the number presented in this slide. So we have 380 SMEs involved in 19 B2B matchings. We have 513 SMEs and BSOs involved in 33 study visits, and about 100 BSOs involved in 7 twinnings. So we have just above 1,000 final beneficiaries, SMEs and BSOs involved in all our actions. Now I have time to talk about the new challenges that were not foreseen when the project kicked off. It's a pandemic, and now the war in Ukraine, which of course had a tremendous impact on the economic situation in the EAP countries in general. There is needless to say the impact in Ukraine or in Belarus and Moldova due to the restriction of the flights in Moldova, for example, but also for the rest of the countries in the EAP countries. As you know, they are highly dependent on the Russian market, and the sense of uncertainty has grown even more among the businesses. So this was one of the main challenges and the first challenges that we have faced because of the war in Ukraine as an on the operational level of the project. Because of these challenges, we have discussed with our partners on the ground, also with the final beneficiaries, and it was decided that we would suspend the EU4BCC project for now for 60 days. So starting from 15th of March, we are in the suspension phase, and this suspension phase is on the rolling basis. So in May, we will assess the situation on the ground, and we will decide together with our partners if it's reasonable to continue with the project, at least with some of the countries, or to terminate the project in all. But we have high hopes that we will manage to continue with our projects after May. And there was a project involving Belarusian business support organizations that are owned or funded by the government. We had to immediately suspend the project until further notice. So as you see, we took as a project quite of high hit due to this situation, and now we are in the freeze. However, we have planned many events for our final beneficiaries, for them to allow to interact with each other even without being directly involved in the projects. For example, we in February implementing the networking event for our final beneficiaries. However, this event was open also for other businesses and business support organizations from the European Union and from the EAP region to meet our final beneficiaries and to interact with them, to share the experience, and to network and possibly look into the future cooperation between each other. Here you can see the additional events that when we resume our project, we plan to implement. And all these events will be open for the general public. It will be attended by all the 1,000 final beneficiaries and by other SMEs and business support organizations from those two regions, and they'll have an opportunity to interact with them and look into possible business partner. And these events include, besides the networking events, also the round tables on the level of the sectors, academies, online fairs, and the dissemination of the results that will be achieved. So you will have an opportunity to attend and participate in all the events that I have mentioned in my previous slides, and also to participate in the academies and the online fairs. All the information will be published on our website, connectingcompanies.eu, and on our social media pages on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and Twitter. So if you're interested to look into any of the opportunities to participate in any of the events that I've already mentioned, please follow our social media. If you don't yet follow, you will receive the updates about the opportunities for you to participate. And here I also wanted to mention other opportunities that we have currently published on our website. It is Call for Tenders, where we search the experts that will help us in assessing the reports that we received from our 59 actions on the ground. So if you are also interested, your organization or the individual with the VAT registration, if you are interested to cooperate with our project in bit of different direction, please check also under the opportunities on our website, and please also send your offer to our level. Here I also included the information, contact information for our team, u4bcc@eurochambres.eu, and also you have my personal email in the project. So if you have any questions regarding the future events or any kind of question that we might assist, we'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ia, and thank you to all the speakers today. We are very strict with the time, and we are respecting it entirely, so I'm very happy for that. So thank you for this comprehensive presentation of the EU for Business. We have heard about the challenges for business cooperation between the EU and the Eastern Partnership countries, both before and after the start of the war. We have also heard about concrete sectorial connections between the two regions, training opportunities, and others. We have also seen the concrete results of your activities with 95 business organizations already involved and evenly distributed. And we have had a glance of the events organized, past and future coming ones. So we have also seen the first question in the Q&A box available to our speakers coming from Mr. Adrian Simeon on China. It will be for sure answered by Laura in the Q&A section at the end. And I take this opportunity just to let you know that you can also contact the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Romania, and you can find information about our projects and the actions on the www.ccir.ro or in Romanian www.ccir.ro. Now we move to opportunities in Turkey, and I will give the floor to Angela Ustaroz from the Turkey EU Business Dialogue.
Thank you, Mihai.
We'll talk today about sustainable collaboration and mutual knowledge between Turkish and European business communities. Angela, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mihai. So let me share the screen. Okay, is everything fine, Mihai?
Yes, it's fine.
Perfect.
Sure.
So I'm going to start. My name is Angela, as Mihai already introduced me. I'm the capacity building expert of the TBD project at Eurochambres. So I would like to introduce briefly, well, in 10 minutes, which is quite challenging, what is our project about. So the Turkey EU Business Dialogue project is based on the long-term collaboration between Eurochambres and TOBB, which is also a member of Eurochambres. The TBD project is implemented by Eurochambres in close cooperation with TOBB, which is the beneficiary institution of the project. Then, going backward to the very beginning, in 2001, the Turkish Chamber Development Program, TCDP, was launched as a part of the EU Civil Society Development Program. The overall objective of that program was reinforcing civil society in Turkey. Then, between 2007 and 2009 and 2012 and 2014, it went one step further, and the EU-Turkey Chambers Forum project, ETCF1 and ETCF2, as you can see on the screen, included a wider range of activities addressing both the capacity of Turkish chambers in developing initiative services and putting more focus on the EU accession negotiations. Then, after that phase, the TBD project started its implementation in 2019. So there are 4 specific objectives in our projects. So going briefly through them, the first one is increasing the capacity of chambers in delivering new services to their members. The second one is increasing the participation of the business community in policy making. The third one is increase networking and exchange of the best practices between chambers from the EU and from Turkey. And the fourth one is increasing the participation of the business community in EU-Turkey policy dialogue. Then, during the implementation of the project, starting, as I said, in 2018, chambers of commerce and industry from both Turkey and the EU are involved in partnerships, dialogue, capacity building, and much more that I'm going to explain you now during my presentation. So, between July 2018 and October 2022, over 100 activities has been organized in Turkey and over Europe. And these activities are organized under the 2 components that you can see on the screen. So starting with the first component, there are 3 activities related to EU-Turkey policy dialogue and other 3 related to capacity building. So starting with those 3, we can see that we have high-level business dialogues, SME workshops, and SME surveys. So the high-level business dialogues brings together leaders from private sectors, organizations in Turkey and in the EU, Turkey's public bodies, and EU institutions in order to analyze and discuss the economic relationship between the EU and Turkey. So in the screen, you can see the program that we organized in 2021, of course, online. So on the other hand, there are 2 surveys that are being conducted in order to collect information from companies in Turkey and in the EU regarding their experience and views in relation to economic cooperation and trade between Turkey and the EU. The results of the first survey in Turkey were presented last 10th of March during an event organized at TOBB premises. So, as the third type of activity, we have the SME workshops, which 60 workshops in total have been organized under the project, with the main aim of increasing the understanding of EU-Turkey economic relation. So in the next slides, you will see some examples of workshops organized since 2018. And of course, please check our social media, because during the 2022, there will be upcoming workshops for SMEs that might be interesting for you to join. So as mentioned, the second part of the first component is the capacity building. And this includes chamber academies, study visits, and audits. Also, as you can see, there are many activities, type of activities that has been repeated also on the other projects that were presented during this event. So, under the TBD project, 4 study visits were planned to take place in Turkey for EU chamber executives and 4 to the EU for Turkish chamber executives. Of course, due to the pandemic situation, we adapted our last study visits to online forums, as you can see also on the table. On the table, you can see that all the study visits have been concluded, and you can see the details of each study visit. Since we extended the project 10 more months due to the pandemic situation, we are organizing 2 more study visits during 2022. Actually, the first one will take place next week in Kayseri and Nevşehir in Turkey for EU chamber representatives. And the second one will be organized for Turkey representatives in the EU. Well, here you can find some examples and pictures of some study visits organized since the beginning of the project. I won't stop there. So Then we are organizing also 2 academies under the project for chamber managers. The activities include several courses to increase the performance to their chambers, to exchange best practices, and to extend their network. The first academy took place in 2019 in Turkey, and the second academy will take place in the EU this year in 2022. The call for EU and Turkish chambers representative will be launched in a few weeks. So I would advise you also to check our social media. And in case you are interested, please do not hesitate or to apply or to write us in case you have any doubts. Then under the TBD project, 3 audits has been organized as well and concluded for the Turkish community. The first one is the OKI audit, which was organized to provide a comprehensive overview of the level of compliance of individual enterprises in relation to specific requirements of EU legislation. Specifically, you have the 3 subtopics that we cover: agri-food products, CE marking, and sustainable production and trade. Then the solvency audit activity was organized to offer a first-line service to companies who face difficulties. This service was based on the existing early warning mechanism developed for EU SMEs, which allowed the chamber and the company to evaluate its risk for insolvency or bankruptcy. This activity was organized online and of course during the pandemic situation, since the SMEs were the most affected ones. Then the last audit was the energy efficiency, which was organized to allow Turkish chambers to advise SMEs on how they can reduce their energy consumption and then become more competitive. The 3 reports of the audits will be also published and shared. So in case also you would like to receive it, you can also send us an email. So the second part of the second component of the TBD project is supporting 19 partnerships projects involving chambers in Turkey and in the EU. Each chamber partnership includes at least 1 Turkish chamber and 1 EU chamber. The selected partnerships launched their activities in April 2019 with a duration of up to 15 months. Of course, as you can imagine, we also had extensions on these projects due to the pandemic situation. So each partnership was supported by the EU under its instrument for pre-accession assistance, the IPA2, with a grant up to 150,000 euros. So the chamber partnerships are addressing a wide range of topics and sectors, including, for example, agricultural production, clustering, coaching for SMEs, and much more. The partnership projects were identified and selected following a dedicated call for proposal, which was managed by CFCU in close cooperation with TOBB. So in our website, www.tbd.eu, you can find first more information about those partnerships, and also, of course, about all the activities that I have been through my presentation. And well, in case you have any doubts and you would like to participate on one of our activities that will be coming during 2022, please do not hesitate to contact us to this email address. So, well, thank you so much. I have tried to make it in 10 minutes. I don't know if I made it, but I guess so. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Angela, for your brief presentation. I think that now we can move to the Q&A session. So far, we have one question coming from Mr. Adrian Simeon. As far as I understand, he is referring to the current situation that China became the biggest trading partner of the European Union. And as I understood, he would like to find out more about the regulatory framework or risks and opportunities in case a Chinese company that has office in a EU country would like to stimulate or encourage European entrepreneurs to start a business in China. Do you have some recommendations in this sense, Laura?
Thank you very much, Sabina, and thank you very much for Mr. Simeon. So actually, most of the services that we offer are available on the website for this specific reason, because the knowledge, it's mainly in China. It's people that are constantly in connection or working with the different authorities, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, the Agency for Industry and Development. And the idea is that if the team is somehow moved into Europe, we somehow will lose a little bit of this advantage that we have in the knowledge based on this. What we do have, as you know, is a representative, which is me in this case in Europe. And the fact that the project has been renewed for another 3 years somehow represents or confirms the fact that actually the European Union is giving a lot of importance to the commercial relations with China. Now, in this new phase that is coming, and it will start in July 2022, so this year, there are other services that will be included and added in order to reinforce the support to companies. So there will be more. There will be hopefully more representatives in Europe, although still we have to clarify this. So my suggestion will be to stay tuned. We have a newsletter where we will keep everybody informed on the evolution of the services and how the consortium will be formed for the coming phase. And there they will see. But the answer is yes. The fact that this project has been renewed for 3 years confirms this importance that China is getting as a commercial partner, although it had it in the past. And second, there will be more services in order to somehow build this gap, or let's say that plug these skill gaps that actually companies have when it comes to China. The other reason why most of the team is based in China is because when it comes to trade missions, B2B matchmaking events, the fact that we have people on the grounds in China permanently helps a lot in the organization, choosing venues, contacting with the different stakeholders, and by somehow relocating this into China, again, we will lose a little bit of this advanced situation that we have with the fact that the headquarters is based in China at the moment.
Thank you, Laura. As I can see, we have one more question coming from Mr. Ionel Brânceanu. Hi, the main challenge in any trade between countries is to identify a reliable manufacturer. Any recommendations?
Perhaps I can start, and maybe some of my colleagues can add based on their experience. What we do with China, and it is true, it's very difficult to find reliable partners in general. It could be distributors, it could be agents, it could be actually a sourcing company, a manufacturing facility. The first thing when you actually contact one of them is to perform what we call due diligence. Due diligence means a very in-depth analysis of the legal and the commercial status of the company. This will include asking your partner, or this China-based partner in this specific case, their business license. And thanks to that business license, we are able, through the different public sources, to verify that the company is legit, it exists, that they have a commercial substance. So we can see actually their financial reports and statements on a yearly basis. And we can also see who are the legal and responsible persons for the company, and if this matches with the person we have been contacted. On a second level, we can actually also call the company. But thanks to the team in China who speaks Chinese, they can call the company and actually talk directly with the commercial team, trying to get more information about the previous experience this partner might have had with first your product, or the type of product you're looking for, or with foreign companies, because it's very important to know that when a distributor, an agent, or a sourcing office don't have previous experience with foreign companies, it's quite difficult or much more challenging to develop this kind of commercial relationship. So this is something actually we recommend and we can help with. again, through the Ask the Expert section, all the companies or even chambers of commerce and different business support organizations can reach to us and ask us to support on this. On a third level, a little bit farther, it will be as well to actually help them create or meet in China during a business matchmaking event, a trade mission, or perhaps during the visit of the company in the framework of a trade fair. We can help them to connect, to meet, and even to support the translation if necessary. And I think Ia has raised her hand, so perhaps she can share also her experience in the framework of EU for BCC.
No, it was kind of a mistake to raise a hand. No, since we are not directly working with the manufacturers, I cannot comment on that. But like we are just using the experience from our member chambers and our partners on the ground in terms of the business support organizations to reach to their members to identify how to select this kind of manufacturers. Thank you, Laura.
Oh, I think Joel did raise his hand.
Yes, I did. From an India perspective, I saw also there was another question about Chinese companies cheating European Union companies, yeah, in terms of doing trade and investments. There was a follow-up question, which Laura, it's going to be you that will answer that, but it's also, it's the same with India. But what I wanted to share was before you do the due diligence, it is also very important to do a feasibility study on whether your product or technology has an opportunity in Asia, in countries like Asia, or anywhere in the world, yeah? Because what you feel as an SME that works in Europe may not necessarily have a demand in these countries. So there might not be a demand for your product or technology in a particular country. So it's very important first to do the feasibility study to see if there is a demand. Second, do the due diligence on your potential partners. So you don't have to find one partner, find 2 or 3 partners, do the due diligence and find the right trusted partner that you can trust. And when you're doing trade and investment anywhere in the world, you need to sign some kind of a non-disclosure agreement so that if in case you are doing trade or you are investing or collaborating with any partner, you are safeguarding yourself, you are protecting yourself by signing a non-disclosure agreement. So that way your product and your technology cannot be copied or cannot be, you will not fall into a situation where you will have any future problems. Over to you, Laura, to answer the next question about China that is mentioned in the chat.
Thank you very much. Yeah, somebody mentioned that, well, talking about being cheated, and then indeed, I think what Joel mentioned, making sure that you are fully covered in terms of intellectual property rights before making any move into the market is extremely important. And on top of the due diligence part, I think it's also very, very important to make sure that any contract that you sign in India, in China, in Turkey, it's actually fully compliant with the laws that apply in the country. Because if you use the templates that we have in Belgium or in Spain to sign a contract with a partner in China, perhaps this might not be enforced in court. So you have to make sure that all of these little steps are accomplished in order to minimize the risk of being cheated. I myself lived in China for 9 years, and we have seen cases where companies have been cheated. And I can tell you, in 99% of the cases, none of these suggestions that both Joel and I were sharing were fulfilled. So by following all these little by little steps, you will minimize the risk of being cheated or of having not being successful in the market. But of course, indeed, something that Joel mentioned that we usually do as well is the feasibility study, making sure that your product is suitable for the market. In China, we say Chinable. It's really, really important.
And the EU does support, for example, for India, the EU has organizations that support you in conducting that due diligence on your future trade partner or collaborator in India.
Thank you all for your comprehensive answers and recommendations to our participants. Since all the questions that have been raised so far already received answers, I think that we can end our webinar by thanking you a lot for your comprehensive important and relevant informations for our companies. And also I would like once again to encourage all the participants to take the opportunity that they will receive all the presentations by email, where your email addresses will be included, to take this opportunity and to contact you directly if they have specific questions. So I would like to thank you all for your contributions, and I also would like to thank our participants for their time. And I'm confident that they found all this information interesting and will encourage them to expand their companies and access new international markets. Thank you all, and I wish you all the best. And